the heart of London. Your sponsors this evening are Carlsberg Brewery Limited, and your promoter this evening is Frank Maloney Promotions. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the main event of the evening. Frank Maloney Promotions presents a contest of 12 3-minute rounds to decide the middleweight championship of the Commonwealth. In the blue corner, from Islington, North London, with a record of 23 fights, 21 wins, 17 by KO, the challenger, Michael Watson! In the red corner, from Ilford, East London, with a record of 22 fights, 22 wins, all by KO, the defending champion, the Dark Destroyer, Nigel Benn! At the weigh-in today, Benn scaled 11 stone, 5 3/4 pounds. Watson, 11 stone, 6 pounds. Your officials for this contest, appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control, the timekeeper from Sutton, Mr. Tommy Rice, the referee from Wolverhampton, Mr. John Coyle.
So as the referee, John Coyle from Wolverhampton, one of the star grade referees, calls them together. It's really like sitting on red alert here, waiting for the bomb to explode. We even had the old wartime siren going there when Ben came in the ring. Well, we'll now find out if it's been overplayed or not. But it's one of the hottest domestic matches that I can remember. So I hope they can hear the bell, because it's very difficult for us, and we're only just a few feet away from it. He's come out firing as he said he would, Ben, as he always does in a contest. But he's certainly moved up in grade here now. Can Watson survive the dangerous early round? That seems to be the only concern with his management. There's one thing, Ben can't offer his jaw. He gets a bit slack at times, as we've seen in recent fights. But that's because the opposition hasn't been the class, and hasn't been world ranked as Michael Watson is. And he's doing well by doing that sort of Floyd Patterson peekaboo style there, holding the hands up, Watson. That's the way to try and at least block punches while the danger's around like this. The crowd is just absolutely baying for Ben, aren't they, Jim?
Yeah, well, I thought Watson may have been a bit negative in the opening rounds, especially the opening minute. But he hasn't. He's been on the defensive, he's been on the retreat, but he's not been negative. He's thrown good punches. He's looking at Ben all the way through. He's keeping his own defensive tight, but he's coming back with nice plodding little jabs and some nice little hooks.
From training drills, both of them are in tremendous condition, although Ben really is sparing in his sparring. Well, he's taken some whacks around the side of the head there, Watson, that others have gone down with. A minute to go then in this opening round. We knew it would be explosive. really sitting on the edge of the seats here, all the benches they've got out in the super tent. Well, it's got to be Benn's round, and the amount of punches landed, but it's been some shrewd defensive stuff by Michael Watson. Will they hear this bell? And I love that glance they had at each other there. You wouldn't call that respect at all, would you? You really wouldn't there. So there they are working in the corner, the regulars, Brian Lynch, and a bit early for the ice pack. Sean Lynch, his son, putting it on there with Ben. He's 25. And there's his rundown then, as I say, all inside the distance. Well, if he's had his share of easy ones or not, which he called Mexican road sweepers, it still takes him doing all inside a total of 41 rounds. And a few old pros working in this corner then. There's his rundown, and he's been in with a slightly better, well, better class fighters than Ben, no question about that, and that was why a lot of people thought maybe the odds were a bit exorbitant. And there's Nicky Duff, who seems to be everywhere, even when he's standing still. So round two. Well, smart tactics, I would have thought, Jim. You covered up well there, Watson.
Yeah, well, Ben's punching power is no secret, obviously. What Watson has based his campaign around keeping his chin out of trouble for the first 3 or 4 rounds. And hopefully when the pace settles down a little bit, he'll be able to go to work. But although he lost the first round, he had a better first round than I expected. He was a bit more positive. He's not giving Ben the fight all his own way. Some nice counters, but still thinking at all times of keeping his chin out of trouble.
Tested himself fully in sparring. He brought the old-timer from America, Wilfred Sipien, over, among others, to spar with Watson. Now we've got to see now, Jim, whether Ben has got any patience in the ring now.
Spar too many rounds. His technique's not too bad. He keeps his own forehead nice and low, keeps his chin tucked in, and he has this tremendous power. But this is without doubt the classiest opponent Ben's been in with.
Midway through the second, scheduled for 12, but let's face it, unlikely to go that long. Meanwhile, referee Coyle has managed to stay away and let him get on with it. Good refereeing. Minute to go in the second. And as Ben piling on this pressure, but smart countering and covering up by Watson. It's obviously a technique that they worked on with trainer Eric Seacombe and manager Mickey Duff and cornerman Danny Mancini. They've obviously said you've got to tuck up, as they say in the fight trade, early on, and then just open up to let him know you're there every so often. And Ben cannot afford to be contemptuous of Watson. Right above us here in the commentary position. They're really sinking those in, Jim.
Ben got through with that one, Reg. And I think Watson is braced at all times to take punches, so he's taken punches that little bit better than you normally would. But that was a good shot from Ben.
Coming out for the third round then. And Ben won those opening rounds just by the sheer volume of punches. But Tim Watnight certainly gave respect for Watson the way he was countering. But he really does lean in with the shots now, Nigel Benn. He refuses to move from that position, Watson, doesn't he? Good cover-up stuff. He doesn't normally box like that, Jim.
No, well, he's forced to box like this. But Ben is standing off those extra couple of inches. And normally when he does that, he's looking for the real powerful shots. He was a little bit reckless with his punching in the first couple of rounds. It was complete pressure, but he wasn't looking. But now he seems to be looking for the target and looking to place the big stuff.
Minute gone in the third round. So by now all those harsh words are being forgotten now, and it's a question of hardness and respect they've got to show to each other now. They both know they can fight and punch a bit. I'm amazed really that he's staying on the ropes like that, Watson, but he's trying to use them to his advantage. Using them perhaps to get a bit of leverage.
Well, I think Watson's doing the right thing. He doesn't want to start backing off from Ben, because then the powerful swings are more liable to catch him. He's better keeping nice and tight, nice and close to Ben, where he has a chance of landing his own counter.
Jim, it's certainly living up now to its expectations, this, isn't it? And going the way we thought it might, but it couldn't be over in a couple of rounds because they're both too much of quality fighters for that to happen.
Yeah, well, this is actually even better than I thought it would be, because I thought Watson would pay Ben a little bit too much respect and maybe go on his bicycle and try to stay out of trouble, but that's not been the case. Quite the opposite. He's standing his ground and coming back with as good punches as I've seen him throwing. When Ben stands off those couple of inches, it's giving Watson a chance to land it with a jab. Watson probably has the better jab of the two.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's hard, but surprisingly clean, Jim. I mean, there's been no hitting on the break after the bell, and so far no low punches. At least they've managed to control their fury a little bit.
There hasn't even actually been a clinch. I don't think we've heard the referee tell him to break once. It's been action all the way through, and I think Watson will be quite happy. See here, Watson is always under pressure, but he's coming back with some real beautiful punches, lovely counter punches. He's always in control of his action here. He knows the punches are coming. He's braced and back with these lovely jolting little counter punches. Watson is doing far better at this stage than I thought he would be doing. He is behind, but doing better.
Oh, then the stars are out, aren't they? Wixie and Michel from EastEnders sitting right behind us here. Quickly spotted the big man himself, Frank Bruno, in the audience. Out for the fourth round then. So there you are, those have predicted those big odds in the first round. It hasn't happened, not yet anyway.
There's another good left hook from Ben. That one certainly stopped Watson in his tracks, but he's taken the punches well.
So you've got to remember that Ben was a good class amateur, although he didn't box internationally. He lost to Rod Douglas, but he won the return. So he wasn't just sort of Johnny come lately who'd learned his boxing in the army. I think he learned his discipline in the army. Oh, now he's starting to take punches, and he's trying to ride away from him. He's not protecting himself, Ben. And it's almost as though he's showing contempt for Watson's punches there, Jim.
Well, that's the exact same thing he did with Logan. He seems to lose concentration, just waiting to get his own powerful punches back. But that was a stupid thing he did there. And that's all the confidence that Watson's going to need. He knows he can shake Ben. He knows he can drive him back.
Well, now has Watson taken over in the fourth? Ben really just goading Watson on. We'll not be sure until this outcome now.
I can see in Ben's movements that those punches have stunned him. You can see the way his legs are moving. He's not in control here. He is in trouble.
Yeah, bang in trouble now. He's certainly not acting now, I promise you that. And I'm wondering why he's done that. Oh, what a return. He bounced off the ropes there as he did with Anthony Logan
for dead. He still has that power. It's so natural to him. He still has the power to knock you out.
Well, they're trying to bludgeon each other's head and spirit at the same time. Inside the minute then for this round. What a comeback. It's hard to believe, Jim, that he was feigning pain there. He was hurt all right, Ben.
Yeah, he was hurt, but just there's so much natural power. Even on his way down, I think Ben could knock an opponent out.
First time he's done any covering up with that crab-like defence there, Ben. And the chance of Nigel all around this tent. And there's the countdown for the end of this round, and they're the farthest point from the bell. I hope they can hear it. What a finish. If either went down, of course, the count would continue. Well, that's one of the most remarkable rounds I've seen. Jim, look at this replay now.
Yeah, well, at this stage, Ben was stunned. You could see in the way his legs were moving that he wasn't in control of his movements. Watson, even when Watson was piling on, looking for the knockout, he was still thinking about defence, which I think actually saw Watson through the round. See there, his hands are back up again. Although Ben's all over the place, you'll see Watson's hands come back up again pretty quickly. Watson knows the danger he has in front of him.
And there it is again now from a different angle. And certainly the head's bouncing about there, isn't it? The new haircut towel piece is really showing, flicking around. But as Jim Watt says, he suddenly collected his senses. I'm not sure if he knew quite where he was then, and then came whipping back. He's done that before, Ben. Out for the fifth. He's now starting to try and open up a bit, Watson. He's got some encouragement, Jim, assuming that he's hurt then, but how do you dispirit a fellow like this? I mean, he really he smells danger. He likes living on the edge, Ben, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I think he took too many chances in the fourth round there. But Watson still knows he has to be careful at all times, even if things look to be going his way. He has to be very, very careful. He's always one punch away from the fight being over. That's usually the sign when a puncher is hurt. He wasn't pushed back, he started going back, but he's still dangerous.
It's good to rely on your power of punch as a fighter, but you've also got to have some good defensive work when you're at the top in the world rankings now. And Ben has got to learn that anyway, whatever the outcome of this now. He's taken a few, well, maybe he can't miss them because Watson's aiming them accurately. It just has not eased up at all, has it? It's an incredible fight, Jim.
Yeah, I don't remember a more exciting domestic fight. A long time since we've seen action like this. It's non-stop, every second of every round.
It's sort of as though one's trying to impose his will on the other one as much as their skill and power.
Well, if questions were asked of Ben's chin after the Logan fight, I think he's answered them tonight, because twice it's looked as though he's been on the verge of being knocked out, and he's come back to take control of the action again. Now, I don't know if this is a bit of acting here. That didn't look a particularly hard punch, but the Ben looks badly shaken. That didn't look like a hard shot, Reg, but it certainly had an effect.
Well, if it is acting, Jim, it's not good acting, and he's hurt all right, the way he buckled there, but he seems as though he's tempting the man on all the time, doesn't he? Say, well, you think you've hurt me, how's this?
Yeah, well, I think he's trying different...
Well, time to get our breath back, isn't it, after that? And certainly these boxers needed the 60-second respite there. The timekeeper making sure he can hear... I'm sorry, the referee trying to make sure he can hear the bell. So no doubt if you haven't seen Michael Watson before, you're surprised perhaps by his boxing ability. Certainly fight traders or not, because we've seen him since the National Association of Boys Clubs Championships. He's always been a smart mover. But there was one blot on his record. He lost on points to James Cook at Wembley back in '86. Well, coming up to the halfway stage here now, it looks as though it's going to be a grueling slog now. Which one's going to be first to go?
Oh, perfect punch.
He's got caught in the eye there.
Punch, but if he does not go on, the referee will have to stop this fight, Reg. There was nothing wrong with that punch.
No, he got caught in the eye with it, and that's unusual for Ben, really, to back away. The man who thrives on his toughness, and sometimes toughness is not related to winning in this game. Oh, he's gone. So, the big hitter has been hit in the 6th round, and the way he backed off from that punch in the eye, it looked as though he wasn't sure he'd been counted out on his feet there, and I don't think the crowd can believe this, and I know that Ben can't. And to be fair to Ben, he's gone straight over to Watson as if to say, listen, you're the better man. I said those things about you before the fight, but at least you fought like a man, and what a finish, Jim. I tell you, this ring now is really going to be uncontrolled. They're jumping over us here on the monitors, and I do hope the security to keep some of these people out, because it's going to be like a street carnival there, and getting a bit out of hand. The underdog has won, and he's done it in style, Jim.
Well, that looked as though it was the jab that was the finishing punch. Ben, again, was far too reckless. He turned away. It's almost a bad sign when a fighter turns away complaining about a punch. There didn't seem anything wrong with the punch. Maybe the side of the glove caught him in the eye. But it seemed to be a jab that finished off. See, he turned away here. Now, that is always bad news when a fighter does that. But he came firing back shortly after this with the usual lethal punches. But then what seemed to be a jab just finished it.
He was almost sold out, wasn't he? As though that he'd run out of stamina and sort of zest for the fight. He'd thrown everything he could at Watson, and there it is now. That's a good sign to see. The two fellas that have had a war like that have managed to create a little armistice at the end of it. That's good news. Well, I tell you, I've been around some ringsides in America and everywhere, but this is getting ridiculous in the ring there now. There's a lot of shoving and pushing going on. They all want to get to Michael Watson and slap his back. There's no actual violence, it's just exuberance. And security people in the evening dress there are really having trouble keeping the fans away. So this man, Michael Watson, world number 3, he now could be ready to fight Mike McCallum for the WBA Championship. Well, Mickey Duff said if my man gets over the first few rounds, he's going to win the fight. He's one of the shrewdest judges in the game. He's been around a long time.
Just explain what happened from your point of view in there.
Well, I had to dictate the pace from the first round. I knew Nigel was going to come out first, half earlier on in the round. So the main object was to keep my composure.
When did you know that you had him beaten?
Well, in the third round. Of course,
as early as that?
Yeah. I knew that would come forward to me. So what I had to do was use the left hand, open up the left hand, everything will follow from there. Everything turned out fine.
We were wondering if he was kidding at all when you were hitting him. Was that kidology, or do you think he was really hurt?
I didn't think so. I was catching some good shots. You know, I was punching with bad intentions. You know, I'm glad for everything. You know?
But listen, all along you've kept so calm and so cool about the whole thing. You proved a lot of people wrong tonight.
I must give credit to Nigel Benn, right, because he promoted the fight very well. You know, he gave me one of the hardest fights so far. You know, he was very strong. I've got some solid shots.
You've given us all on ITV great entertainment. Very well done. We're going to